And we got to build us an army. It's time for us to unite. Uhuru! 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 We are the sons and daughters of Africa. And we've been under attack for 500 years. It's time for us to fight back. It's time to organize an army. In the name of Trayvon, Malcolm X, revolution is the only way. Uhuru! 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 Uhuru Africans! Black power! Black.
First I want to say, this is a picture of me, Dr. King and Stokely Carmichael. And I was in an organization called SNCC, SNCC, real organization of the 60s. And fortunately, we were able to lead Dr. King and his organization. And we were formed by a lady, women are smart and strong men, by a lady named Ella Baker. And we were all demonstrating. She pulled us all together. Went to Dr. King and said, Dr. King, we got to get these youth together. And she got $850 from Dr. King. And we had a conference in Raleigh, North Carolina. All the city-in folks came together. And when we got there, Dr. King was there, wanted us to be a youth group, and she said, no, you don't want to be a youth group under these preachers. She said, y'all need to be your own organization. So we formed the Student Nonviolent Coordination. You go back in history and you would say that we would clearly say that the Black Panther Party started in Lowndes County, Alabama in 1965. When we were down there and people found themselves oppressed under apartheid, racism, basic slavery. And Kwame Ture, Stokely Carmichael at the time, SNCC, SNCC, we went in there after we had been fighting in Selma and Montgomery and Tuskegee. We went into Selma, Alabama to organize. And when we went there, we had fought the Democratic Party where they had assassinated and killed many of our soldiers and beat, bombed, burnt down churches, all kinds of things. We formed a party. And this party was called the Lowndes County Freedom Organization. And that back in those days, you couldn't get in black people couldn't get vote in the Democratic Party or the Republican Party. And if you tried to do it, they come blow you up, kill you, do all kinds of things, burn your church down, assassinate you like they did Medgar Evers, Martin King, and many others. And we chose a party, and they said that in order to have a party, to be able to vote in the state election, after we forced them to pass a voters' rights bill and give Black people the right to vote, we formed a party. And in order to have a party, you had to have a symbol. They had a jackass, they had a donkey. We chose the Black Panther. And when we chose the Black Panther as our symbol, we became known as the Black Panther Party. And when we became known as the Black Panther Party, we were seen with guns and group of self-defense soldiers in that area. And it was very appealing to our people all over the country. And so many young people came and asked, could they form chapters of the Black Panther Party? And we said, yeah. And we brought in, we helped Huey Newton and Bobby Seals and Cleaver form chapters of the Black Panther Party. We helped put them together. And when we put those groups together, one in New York, I think, group in Philadelphia, and the Black Panthers, and they called theirs the Black Panthers for self-defense. And one of the things that SNCC did, SNCC, every town that we would go to, every area or county, we would form local organizations. And then we would step back and let them be independent and go on their own, but we would help them in the many ways that we could, fight with them, whatever necessary. And when we formed the Black Panthers Party and they asked could they form chapters, we said yes. And we brought them in our office, may help them get organized, help taught them what organization was, and sent them to Cuba on their first trip, and they went to Cuba and whatever. And that when they formed, shortly after that, Huey Newton got put in jail. And one of their main focus were to free Huey Newton. And when they fought to free Huey Newton, they used a lot of groups from around the country. Now, mind you, that SNCC had an SNCC, we expelled white people from our organization and told them to go in the white neighborhood and organize their own community and fight racism and imperialism, what have you. And when they went and SNCC, then in 1966, we hit them with Black Power, and Black Power became a major symbol. And behind Black Power, all these cities began to burn down. People were dying in the streets, shooting, blowing up stuff, fighting back. But the cry was Black Power and Black nationalism coming out of that and what have you. And that during that, in the middle of that Black Power, the Black Panthers were beginning to grow and get their own personality. And that when Huey Newton got put in jail, they wanted to merge with different groups, white groups. Matter of fact, a group called the Peace and Freedom Party and another group called Freedom and Peace Party. And these groups were white groups, white militant groups. And the Black Panther was merging with them, and they were calling themselves Pink Panthers or whatever, but they were merging. And when you go to a Panther rally, you would probably find 25 of Black people and 200 white people. And SNCC, at that time, we were talking about Black Power, and we didn't want white people in our organizations. And so we were fighting against integration and mixing. And so, but we said Black Power, and they came with power to the people. And when they said power to the people, they were including the whites and all that kind of thing. And that, so that was the difference. We were a Black nationalist force, and then there was a force that was bringing in whites and whatever, and they were more power to the people. But we were Black national, Black Power, and that kind of thing. So that was the difference. Now, I guess that was the counter. They said power to the people as a counter to Black Power. Well, good question. We use voting as an instrument to organize people, and not seeing voting as a solution to our problem, but we use voting and to go into the cotton fields and talk to people about freedom and liberation and whatever. And we were saying register to vote to get rid of the sheriff, the mayor, and all these white racist politicians. And that we tried that, and that was and anyway, we were able to have a voice with that. And then after we opened that door, the people that got and ran and got in, Black people got in, white people got in, but the system was so powerful, even though you have an individual Black person, they in there fighting a machine. And this machine is so powerful, one person couldn't stop it. And that, unfortunately, a lot of folks got in and they weren't interested in stopping nothing, but they were interested in building a machine and building something for their personal self. And that was the difference. So now, once you start voting, and we got voting all around, and believe me, all the areas where we fought for voting the hardest are the poorest areas in this country today. Like they talk about marching across the bridge in Selma. The people in Selma back then, they did have a little regular hotel. They had a few little regular restaurants and some business. And since then, they have taken all those businesses away from Black people in Alabama. We don't have hardly no business at all, nowhere in the country, really. And they took all our businesses in Alabama. They have 299 prisons and about 85 colleges. And that Black people are being rounded up and put in prisons and not in the universities. So I'm saying that voting was a tactic to try to use, but now we see, and we had our own parties, and we see that the Democratic Party and the Republican Party both are so extremely racist that and part of the imperialist system that we will get absolutely nothing from voting, and that the Democratic Party is made up of a bunch of criminals, international criminals, and that we see Biden, who just one person, but the whole system is rotten, and we're definitely not interested in voting. And Mao Zedong say that power come out the barrel of a gun. And so today, to answer your question, I believe in revolution. I believe in the liberation of our land, Africa. And that if we use a model for getting liberation, you can look at China, you can look at Vietnam, you can look at North Korea, and you can look at the struggle that the Palestinians are raising today. So when you voting won't get you freedom. Freedom and liberation is not on the ballot. So I think that we will have to fight for our freedom and for our liberation, revolution. I'm nonviolent. And in my nonviolent days, I helped burn down a whole lot of cities and had many gun battles and fight and taught my people to fight. I said nonviolent. I'm talking about among the organizations that we work with, among Black people, nonviolent with your wife. I think all the gangs should be nonviolent to each other. But when you fight the enemy, there's no such thing as nonviolence. Revolutions are bloody, and that we have to fight for the liberation of Africa. And we'll never be free until Africa is free and liberated. And that nonviolence is just a tactic. And if your tactic called to be nonviolent today, that same organization and movement might have to pick up guns tomorrow. Like I was in the Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee, and we were nonviolent, and we faced dogs and bombs and whatever. And we tried to be nonviolent, but when the enemy sometimes got too violent, or they came to our house with guns, we met them at the door with our guns. Or when they attacked us physically, we might take a lick or two, but then after a minute, we had to whoop their ass. And so still we were nonviolent. But then when it came to the point that it was time to fight, when our people started fighting in Detroit, they were saying Black Power, and they were burning down the cities. And we, SNCC, Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee, we became the spokesman for the people that was burning down the cities in Detroit. And then we had the whole United States on fire at one time, and we were speaking out against the wars, and we supported the Vietnamese fighting the United States. We supported the Cuban Revolution, and we support the freedom fighters in Angola who was shooting down their planes and using guerrilla warfare. We supported the freedom fighters in Mozambique, in Guinea-Bissau, in Zimbabwe, in other parts of the world. The Palestinians, even back then, SNCC supported the Palestinians who was using suicide bombers. And we had started out nonviolent, but time changed and it was time to pick the weapon up and there's time for people to fight. And when that time comes, you have no other choice but to fight. And the stage that imperialism is in today, you have no choice but to pick up your weapons and fight these people. And ain't no such thing as a nonviolent revolution. Revolutions are bloody. And this is what we have to fight. And if you look at who these people are, look what they're doing in Palestine today, committing genocide, Zionism. Zionism is the enemy to the world, and every organization have to join to speak and have a voice speaking against Zionism. And we have to learn from each other. In the Congo, the richest nation in the world in Africa, one of the richest nation in the world in Africa, where they murdered Patrice Lumumba. And when they killed Lumumba, the FBI, CIA, and all the European NATO forces and the United Nations, they killed him, cut him up in little pieces, and then put his body in acid. And that this is what we're dealing with, and they have killed in the last 5 years. Over 7 or 8 million people have been killed in the Congo, and millions are in slavery down there right now as their land are being raped by these multinational corporations. They have killed and murdered our people in Haiti, the Haitian Revolution, where they won their independence against the French. They beat them, whooped Napoleon, Dessalines, Bourguiba, Toussaint, the Haitian Revolution. And the United States have invaded them 20-something times and beat them down and beat them back into slavery because they angry because they got independence and beat the imperialists in 1804. And that so all the crime Africa is being raped and murdered, and that they continue to meet these crimes, and that we have no choice but to pick up our weapons, but most important, to get organized, and then we can fight them any means and the best means that we can. But you definitely can't fight without having an army, without having weapons and whatever. Ain't no such thing as a nonviolent revolution, but we will use nonviolence if it's appropriate time. But now the world has reached a stage that we will now have to have a worldwide revolution, and we have to fight imperialism, we have to fight Zionism, and we have to fight these Black people, people of color, that they use and organize and make forces against us. We call it neo-colonialists, and these forces will have to be fought. But the most important weapon we got is organization. And now we concentrate on getting organized where we can fight back and liberate our territories. Well, that's part of their program. And that was some white man named, I think, John Foster Dillon. He was something, some kind of imperialist, but he said, let the Asians fight the Asians, we know, as they invade different countries. Let the Africans fight the Africans, and let the Chinese fight the Chinese, the Vietnamese fight the Vietnamese. So what they do is create they create conflict in our neighborhood and contradictions, and they will have our children fighting each other, They will have the man and woman fighting each other. And they're the ones that put the drugs in our neighborhood. They're the ones that put the guns in our neighborhood. And that's one of the things they're doing in Alabama today, in Selma. They take guns from kids, and then the police and the prosecutor's office, they take these guns and sell them back and put them back on the street where the children can shoot and kill each other. And they feel they benefit from it. And that therefore we have to stop it. And we have to say that bring organization and education to our people where they can begin to fight with our people and for our people and not against each other. But all that other stuff is just a weapon that they use against us to fight each other and kill each other. And that they're the ones got our children fighting each other. They're the ones that's got our trying to turn the man against the woman. They're the ones that had programs to put the man at the house and make sure that the family was broken and all that kind of stuff. And all that's part of the work of the imperialists. And we have to come together. Ain't no doubt about that. And we need to form a movement. In the early days, SNCC and Rap Brown and Stokely Carmichael, Kwame Ture, and all of us, myself, we were able to be spokesmen for all the movement, a whole United States on fire. And we were the spokesman for all these people. Our voice, they respect them because we were all fighting for the same thing. And that we were the voice of the revolution. And then when the revolution got international, we began to be the voice for the Palestinians, the voice for the brothers in Angola. We went to jail and prison, went to United Nations, kicked the door down and kicked the ambassador and the embassy's ass in the United Nations that represented South Africa and told them to free our Black people in South Africa. We spoke up for Mara Michelle. We became the voice for the Vietnamese people, and that we definitely need a voice and something to bring all the people together. And that what will bring us together is that we fight in principle, because the issues, everybody can have different little issues, but we have one principle. Our principle must be the total liberation and unification of Africa under socialism. We want scientific socialism or communism. We want to take everything that the imperialists destroyed, imperialists, take everything they got and give it back to the people in terms of schools, in terms of education, medicine. We want to burn down every jail, every prison, and put all them children and young men in prison, put them in the university to make doctors and engineers and chemistry and great builders out of them. And they don't need to be held in jails and prison, because prison ain't nothing but slave ships. And we're going to burn them down, just like our brother just did in Haiti. Went down to the prison with guns, shot it up, burned it down, got all the folks out, sent them home to their mama, sent them home to them pretty girls waiting on them to make some babies and all that other good stuff. And they're fighting, and they fighting back, and they have they're destroying the colonial imperialist system that's set up in Haiti that's been going on a long time. But our people rising up in that. But we have to bring them together, and we have to be the voice. And all our voices must speak together and wanting the same thing, socialism, wanting Pan-Africanism, the unity of all of us, and wanting all of that and joining in together, because the imperialists got a worldwide army called NATO. When one European nation fight, that's why all of them trying to beat up on Russia. All of them putting bombs and guns and billions of dollars to blow up Russia. All of them whenever one in trouble, one fight, all of them fight. When the brothers in Haiti fight, the whole NATO jump on them. When the brothers in wherever you fight, all the NATO, we fight the United States, all the NATO come help them. When France do some shit, all the NATO come help them. And this is what we have to have now. Pan-Africanism, when our brothers in Mali fight, all of us fight together. We help Mali. When Burkina Faso, all of us fight. We fight all over the world. We tear anything, wherever we are, we'll tear their shit up. You fuck with Mali, we'll fuck you up in South Africa. We'll fuck you up in California. We'll anywhere. And this is what we have to have, but we have to have organization and be a voice and a force together. And this is what we talk about. We need an ideology. We need one ideology and worldwide ideology. We need one objective where all of us fighting for the same thing. We might be fighting that little issue and all that, but what principles are you fighting for? What objectives are you fighting for? And Pan-Africanism have to be our number one objective, the unity of all of us, and then we'll have a forward. And of course, you want to have a fight for economic system, socialism, because the principles in there look after everybody. It ain't worry about no money. Money ain't nothing but shit paper with the slave master's picture. And fuck that motherfucking money. We need no fucking money. We got diamonds and gold. Africa got diamonds, gold, oil, rubber, zinc, seed, copper, pearl, cobalt, manganese, and millions of things I don't even know about. And the biggest mangoes in the world and peanuts and everything. And we take Africa, we on top of the world. Africa. The more them European kill us, the more people they kill in the world, the bigger stature they get. They get streets and cities and counties and all kinds of stuff named after them because they're international murderers. And we will fight for justice and we will destroy them. We will bury all of them. Look to Africa. Stop being individuals. In individualism and being by yourself, join in with the other forces. And anywhere you see Africans fighting, join in with them and fight with them. And let's all fight together and make one big battle out of whatever we're doing, because we are the same people and we're fighting for worldwide justice. We're fighting for socialism. We're fighting for our land, Africa, and we'll never be free until Africa's free. And my message is Africa must be free. Africa must unite. And we're African people, period. Black power.
Years ago, when I was walking down the roads, the dirt roads of Mississippi, saying black power, myself and a couple of other people, and they were shooting at us and throwing bombs at us. But today, our people are talking about black power all over the world. And from Black Power movement, our people burnt down all these cities in the United States. And there were hundreds of people laying in the streets dead, being shot down for burning the cities down, for shooting at the government and fighting for black power and fighting for our liberation. Our people have died fighting for black power, and black power ain't nothing to play with. I want all y'all talking about black power. I want you to support the movement. I want you to learn about Marcus Garvey, learn about Malcolm X, learn about Nat Turner, learn about the liberation movements all over the world. Do y'all know about the Haitian Revolution? We defeated them. Our people come from Africa. And black power means the liberation of Africa. Black power means the unity of Africa. Black power means that we must have our own country. We must have our own armies. And we must be willing to build us a nuclear bomb to protect Africa. Africa is the richest land in the world, full of diamonds and gold and millions of other resources. We're the smartest people in the world. We built Ghana, Mali, Songhai, and thousands of other great empires when other people were in the cage before they invaded Africa and robbed us and put us on slave ships. killed the native people here, and then brought us here and made slaves out of us. We must love each other again. Black power means you gotta respect and love the African woman. You got to feed your children and other children. And anytime you hear about anybody fighting for their liberation, you got to support them. You must support the revolution in Venezuela right now. They're fighting against the United States government and other forms of imperialism. We must support Cuba and Castro and all the people that represent the communist government of Cuba. We must support Venezuela and Zimbabwe. We must support, Guinea-Bissau, the PAIGC. They're fighting to liberate that country right now. There's a struggle in the streets. And the PAIGC, which was led by Baba Mukasa Ricks, he was assassinated by imperialism, but yet the spirit of Cabral, they continue to organize, and they're trying to take over Guinea-Bissau. The PAIGC, we must support them. We must support the guerrillas and the soldiers in Libya that's still fighting against the United States government. We must support the guerrillas and soldiers in Yemen that's fighting against Israel and the U.S. imperialism. Anybody in the world that's fighting against the United States and Europe, we must join them in that fight. Again, we are not Americans. We are Africans. And we'll never be free until Africa's free. They divided Africa up and cut it up in little pieces. We want a united Africa. We want our land. And we want to let the world know that African freedom fighters are up in arms all over the world, in Haiti, in Zimbabwe, in Libya, all over the world, in Guinea-Bissau. African freedom fighters are up in arms, and we will lay down our life before we lay our arms down. We are fighting for our liberation. So those of you who come here talking about black power today and sing about it, like Malcolm say, if you knew what black power means, you wouldn't use them words so loosely. You wouldn't play with it. Because black power means bloodshed. Black power means liberation. Black power means getting knowledge of self, getting knowledge of your people, getting knowledge of the revolution. And black power means that we must form armies